allegedly Devin Haney is making his return. I know he did the interview with Andre Ward. I didn't quite watch that, but I know there's some speculation about Devin Haney fighting Liam Paro at 140, for a title shot. Just kind of, I don't want to say it's odd because Devin said, he does what he does now. Forget weight class. He's going to fight wherever he's going to fight, which I guess maybe initial interpretation, people thought that meant he was moving up again, but maybe that means he'll fight at 140 this fight. Next fight, he'll go there. He'll do whatever he wants. But I personally think that's a good fight, but I would love to hear your opinion on that fight.
So initially when there were talks about it, I kind of was like, okay, I'm not mad at the fight initially. And I think it actually works in Devin Haney's favor in the sense that he's not jumping right into a Ryan Garcia fight, especially with the brutal beating he took in that last fight, right? The punishment he took. I think coming into this fight, yeah, Liam Paro is a tough adversary to a degree. We've seen what he did against Matias to him at his home turf. But, coming to face against, a tough opponent, but not an opponent that is unbeatable to a degree, right? I can see Devin Haney winning that fight, but I can also see Liam Paro kind of putting the nail in the coffin on, and I don't want to say to his career, but kind of really setting Devin Haney back. But I think it's a good test to kind of challenge Devin Haney mentally and his confidence, and as he comes back. Because if Devin Haney comes in like what we see him coming against Regis Prograis, I think he can get the job done and beat Liam Paro, right? Mid-diff. But if he doesn't come correct, it could probably be another long night. But I think it's a good way to ease him back in, to be quite honest.
I think I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Regis Prograis fight is just an outlier. And I know Regis had some complaints about, some of the tactics that were going on, pre-fight and stuff. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm just going on a limb and say that is an outlier because that looked like Devin Haney could have really hurt Regis Prograis. Looked like at any moment, if, Regis let his hands go and opened up, Devin could have stopped him. You know what I'm saying? And it made people say, after the fight, people like, oh yeah, it was 135. He was just drained. Now he's strong at 140. But then, Ryan quickly shut that down. You know what I mean? So, and I'm just going off of the body of work here for his career. Because even in the fight against George Kambosos at 135, even though he was dominant, it still didn't look like, like how it looked against that Regis fight. Like any moment now, I'm about to get you out of here.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So just for now, until I see other, I'm going to say that's an outlier. So I can see him versus Paro being more of like a cerebral match. You know what I'm saying? Where they're kind of trying to outthink each other, set traps. And I can see it being a pretty good fight. Now, I know it's not going to have that star-studded name, opponent for Devin Haney to fight, but I think it's a pretty good fight. If for the boxing enthusiasts, like this is a respectable win if Devin Haney goes in and gets that win.
Yeah, and it's for a title, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely for a title, so he can kind of get himself back into the mix of things. And I think they also, because I think what is going to work to Devin Haney's advantage, which we clearly seen, right? Which was not the case against Ryan Garcia. I think he has the size advantage. And I think generally when he has the size advantage, it works very well for him. So that can probably be an interesting thing to see. But, Liam Paro's activity is pretty high too. So
yeah. So the one thing, and because they were saying we were potentially going to get the rematch with Ryan, and I know Ryan is suspended by the New York State Athletic Commission, but if the fight takes place in Saudi, I don't think the New York State Athletic Commission has any governing body there, So if he's not suspended in Saudi, that fight should be able to happen. And the amount of money that fight would generate, I couldn't see them looking past it to take a Paro fight. So that kind of leads me to believe like something's going on probably Ryan's end, since Devin announced he's back. Ryan still kind of looks like he's wilding out. So maybe Ryan isn't in fight, shape right now, or not even shape, but just like a mental state to fight right now. Because like I said, that's the money fight, right? Especially if you guys are saying De La Hoya screwed you guys over, you guys didn't get paid. Like, so if you guys fight each other, on the Riyadh season, you guys are gonna get paid. So I'm just hard pressed that anybody would turn, unless it was like from Devin's end, like, yo, you know what, I'm not ready to face Ryan again, so I need to fight some other people. But
possibly. Possibly they probably thinking Leon Paro was a tune-up. You know, that's probably in there. That's the mindset that they probably have. But I think and then we know Ryan is just, I don't know. Ever since that Tank fight, he's done a 180. Something's definitely wrong with him. But so we know we're gonna get what we're gonna get from Ryan, regardless. So maybe there's a possibility that Ryan's just not in shape and he's with the antics behind the scenes. But I think that fight will happen probably later in 2025. So
yeah, you got to be careful what you're thinking is a tune-up, you know, or even just what you think is going to be like, you know, a full gone conclusion, right? So Gabriel Matias found that out quickly with Liam Paro. Gary Anton Russell found that out quickly with Alberto Puello. You know what I'm saying? So you got to just be careful thinking like, oh yeah, you know, I'm gonna get over on these guys. There's some tough guys there at 140. You know what I'm saying? They coming to put some pain in. I actually want to see someone line up, get in there with Puello. You know, he put on a pretty good show his last fight. I would like to see him fight another opponent just to see, because he just has a tough style. Very tough style.
Slick boxer, could still punch. You know,
yeah,
he's definitely formidable.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, you know, we're on the lookout. We're waiting for these fights. Hopefully, you get the big fights. This topic's not about Tank, but allegedly, you know, I think Tank and Rayo may be in talks. You know what I mean? So, I think that, you know, from a Tank standpoint, Tank and Rayo isn't a bad fight. Haney and Paro isn't a bad fight. I just really can't too much get behind the Shakur and Cordina fight, just to kind of wrap things up on my end.
Yeah, I agree, bro. It's especially from from 2023, right? The year we got in boxing for 2023, arguably going down as one of the best years in boxing, right? In terms of the fights that we've had. And then even, you know, this year we've had some great fights. So for it to be watered down, it's kind of like, now it's even more glaring. So we just want to see big fights, you know, big fights, competitive fights, just, you know, go from there. That's all we want.
Yeah, but, you know, we'll stay tuned. We'll see how this really unfolds. You know, right now there's just a lot of talks and speculation. Let's see who really fights who, and, you know, hopefully we do continue that streak of getting big fights in 2024 like we got in 2023. So make sure you guys jump in the comment section. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell us what fights you're looking out for next. For myself personally, Artur Beterbiev, Dimitri Bivol. I believe it's happening in October. That's the fight I'm most looking forward to. So love to hear which fight you guys are looking out for. We'll check the comments to get back to you guys.